So the average man is cooked, right? The average man is cooked. I was cooked, as you probably saw from the thumbnail. My physique, I was absolutely cooked, right? And believe it or not, in my before picture, I was actually training. I was going to the gym. I was lifting, probably 3 times a week, 4 times a week, maybe at the most. And you would not be able to tell that I was going to the gym, right? I was absolutely cooked. And the average man nowadays is cooked because most people, and I was one of them, they go to the gym. In fact, a lot of people go to the gym quite consistently and their results aren't showing. Yet they don't look that good, right? And the main reason for a lot of that is because they're either not training with enough intensity or their diet is cooked, right? For me, my diet was cooked. It was terrible. So even though I was lifting, my diet and my sleep and my recovery was atrocious. So just because I was going to the gym does not mean you're just going to automatically get results. Because like I said, because my recovery and my diet was so bad, my physique looked terrible, right? So this is why your nutrition and recovery is so important. People neglect sleep so much. They think, oh, I only need 4 hours of sleep. No, you need more than that, right? You might feel okay on 4 hours of sleep. That doesn't mean you should get 4 hours of sleep, right? You need a minimum of 8 hours of sleep. Yeah. I don't care if you feel okay on 6, on 5, on 4. You want to be getting a minimum of 8 hours of sleep per night. Because if you're not recovering properly, your muscles cannot recover, right? Your body can't recover. So if you're trying to go to the gym and lift weights 4, maybe 5 times a week, you are going to struggle because you're not sleeping enough. So you're not going to recover enough, right? But your nutrition is just as important too. You need to make sure your nutrition is dialed in, right? Because for me, my journey, right? Sleep was an issue, yes, but I think where my main issue came from was my nutrition because I had a very bad relationship with food. So if you have a very bad relationship with food, you need to fix that. That should be your number one priority, is fixing your relationship with food. Because if you don't fix your relationship with food, again, you're not going to, your body doesn't have the fuel it needs to grow stronger, right? So you need to fix your nutrition, you need to fix your sleep, and you need to fix your recovery. I'm going to go over in another video about some supplements and things that I take to help. But again, even with supplements, I don't really take that many, because you don't need a lot of supplements. There's this misconception that people think, oh, you need this supplement. No, you need this supplement. You need that supplement. But in reality, you don't. You don't need any supplements if you don't want to take them to obtain a good physique. You don't need any, right? But there are some supplements that help and are proven, but that doesn't mean you need them. Okay, so like I said, you need to make sure your nutrition is dialed in. You need to make sure you're hitting your macros, you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough carbs, and you're getting enough fats. If your macros aren't dialed in and your nutrition's not dialed in, your physique will probably look the same, even if you're going to the gym and training If you're going to the gym training, you're coming back and you're just eating donuts and cookies and sweets, you're not going to have a good physique, right? It's simple stuff, right? It's very simple stuff. You need to make sure you're eating whole foods, probably a pound of protein per pound of your weight, right? I normally split it. So I normally try and have majority carbs and then protein and then fats, right? Because if you're not having enough carbs, then again, your recovery is going to really struggle, right? So don't be one of these people that slash their carbs. Just don't be one of them people. You know, some people say, oh, in order to lose fat, you need to cut out carbs. You don't, right? And it's a horrible idea, right? I don't know why people even advise other people to cut out carbs, because it's one of the worst ideas ever. You need carbs for recovery. It makes you feel fuller, and it also makes your muscles look fuller too, and you're not going to feel like absolute shit, right? Because if you're not having no carbs, then your recovery is going to be absolutely terrible. You'll probably struggle to sleep at night, you know, and the list goes on. So make sure you keep carbs as high as possible. When you get very late into your cut, then you can maybe think about trimming some carbs off, but you want to keep carbs as high as possible. Carbs should be your highest macro, and then protein, and then fats, right? So don't listen to nobody that says, oh, you can't eat carbs, don't eat. No, don't listen to people like that, right? Don't get me wrong, you can lose weight by not having carbs, of course, right? Just like you can lose weights not eating fats. But is that a good idea? No, right? So you want to make sure you're having your protein, your carbs, and your fats. So don't listen to anybody that tells you can't eat carbs, because it's biggest load of nonsense. And I've lost plenty of weight while eating like 200 grams plus of carbs. So don't listen to anybody that tells you can't. So this is why I say, right, nutrition is the most important thing, because it is. Nutrition and sleep, because people do really neglect recovery, right? And you don't want to neglect recovery. People think, oh, I can't have a day off at the gym. You need a day off, right? Don't let this I don't know how to explain it, but some people think that they can't take a day off, that they need to go to the gym all the time and work out all the time in order to obtain results, which just isn't the case, right? It's not the case at all. You need a day off, right? And I like to call them active recovery days. So I don't just have a day off and I sit around on the couch all day. No. What I'll do is I'll have an active recovery day. So I'll still get my steps in. I might get my 10K steps in, and I'll still eat my calories. But that doesn't mean I'm just sitting around all day. So don't confuse a recovery day or a rest day with just doing absolutely nothing and sitting on your ass all day. You should still go out, you should still get your steps in. So that's why I don't call them rest days. I call them active recovery days, because you still want to be getting your steps in and you still want to be tracking your calories, but you're just not lifting weights. That's the only exception, right? Because you want to give your muscles time to recover, and you can obviously rebuild, repair, and then you go again harder, right? So that's all I got for you today. Stay locked in.